Hello guys and welcome back to Stylish Naija YouTube channel. I want to say thank you to all of my subscribers. Thank you guys for subscribing to my YouTube channel. Okay guys, so in today's class I'm going to be showing you guys how to cut this beautiful corset off shoulder corset top. So you can see it is a real beautiful corset with basque front and back basque waistline. So that's what we are going to be learning. These are the fabrics. So I have my transparent lace and then I have my satin that I'm going to be making use of. So this is the pattern paper that we're going to use to draft the corset, and then these are all of my pieces. So this was after cutting out all of the pieces. So in today's video I'm going to be showing you guys how to do the drafting and the cutting, and then in our next video we're going to do the sewing because I want it to be detailed, so I just really don't want to rush. So these are all of my lines. The first line I have the shoulder line, the bust line, the under bust, the waist, and then the full length. And these are the measurements I'm going to be using on my screen. So the first measurement here is my shoulder measurement, which is 14. You divide that into 2, and then you add 7 inches and then add 1 inch as allowance. And then from there you just come down and then you will mark out 8 inches. So for this I'm using 7 inches for my armhole depth. So I'm drafting the back piece first. So yes, that's what I'm doing first, the back piece. So after the back piece we're going to do the front. So the back basically is just a basic bodice. So that's what I'm doing. So for those of you that already know how to do a basic bodice, you are not going to find any problem with what I am doing now. So you are just going to understand. So this, at this point I'm just trying to put in all of my measurements. For that's for my back piece. My bust circumference, divide by 4, add 1 inch because I'll take out a dart of 1 inch. I'll add that back and then I'll mark that out and add my stitching allowance. Okay, so the next part is the under bust line. So you divide that into 4, which is 7.5. I'll add 1 inch and then I'll add my stitching allowance. I'll join it, I'll connect the line also, and then the next line that I have there is my waistline. So I'll divide my waist measurement. So you can use your own applicable measurement, okay, so that it will be easy. So like I said, everything that I'm doing right now is a basic body, so just use your normal basic bodice pattern for this back piece. And then you come to the down part, you're going to mark your waist, sorry, your hip line or your hem line measurement. Divide that into 4 and then mark it. So when you are done, you are just going to connect everything together like this, and then you have the shape. Okay, so the next thing now, I am trying to mark that chest line upwards. So because I don't want my corset to be too deep, I came up by 1.5 inch and just marked it, just mark it. So this is going to be like the top part of the back, so it's not going to be too deep. Okay, so I'm just trying to add the neckline at this point, which I'm not going to use, by the way, because it is an off shoulder corset, so that you will see that it looks like a basic bodice. That's why I did that. And then I'm placing my darts. So I'm using my bust pan to create out, that's it, to mark out my dart lines. I'll use 4 inches for my bust pan and then take out half of an inch to create out my that's so if you want to register for my online classes, you can see my number on the screen. So what I'm trying to do now, I'm taking out 2 inches from my back piece because I'm going to add loops to the back. That's, I'll add corset loops, that is making it a corset back. It's not going to have zipper, it's going to have corset eyelets. So that's why I marked out that 2 inches. I'm going to take it out. So for this other part, I'm just trying to do a slant waist snatch. So I'm taking out another 1 inch from this part of my bodice for the snatch part of the waistline. Okay, so that is what you can see. I have like basically 2 darts. So at the end of the day, that is everything that I need for my back piece. So for those of you, the only difference is that if you see it has 2 darts, yes, because I want to snatch out the waistline. So that is why. So if you don't want it to be very snatched, you can just use your normal basic bodice. Okay, so now we're going to come to the front. I'm labeling all of my lines again: my shoulder line, bust point, under bust, waist, and then hip line. So this one is going to be a little more slower than the first one. So you mark your shoulder measurement, come down by half of an inch, 1 inch, sorry, and then you float that to create your shoulder slope, and then you come down by 7.5 inches for your armhole measurement. So when I mark that, I'm going to use that line as my chest line. So you can use 8 inches. So you can use your own chest line. Just divide your measurements, your bust measurements into six, and then add 1.5. So that will give you an idea. So from this point, I'm going to use I want to mark my bust pan now, which is 4 inches. You remember I used 4 inches. So the bust pan is actually 8, which is nipple to nipple, but professionally it's called a bust pan. So I'm just marking it here, and then I connect with a straight ruler. And then my dart, I'm taking 1.5 inch to the right and then 1.5 inch to the left, because I want my dart to be 3 inches. So when I took out the 1.5 inch to on that side, you can see I just marked it down, and then the other 1.5 on this right hand side, I marked it down. And then from this point, I'll use my pattern curve. I'll curve that into my bust point. Can you see? And then I'll take the other one also. I'll curve it. Okay, you can see I've created my dart legs already. The next thing for this top part, because I don't want my corset to be open, I came up by 1.5 inch. So you can see I just from my chest line, I came up by 1.5 inches, and then I marked that up, and then I connected it straight. So with this, my corset, there's definitely no way this corset is going to show my bust or cleavage. So, and then I'm taking out 0.75 on both sides to create a tightening around that chest area. Can you see? So that's 0.75. I will connect it. So at this point, I'm just trying to figure out how to place my pattern curve. So I'll connect it to that bust point. You can see. So you can see I'm connecting it to the bust point. Can you see? And then the other one also 0.75. I'm connecting it also to the bust point. So when you blend it together, this is what you are going to have. The next thing, for the center part of my corset, I want it to be 1 inch. So I came to this edge. I'm going to mark half of an inch. So you can see I'm marking half of an inch on all of those lines, and I'm going to rule the line. For to make it easier for beginners, I'm just going to rule that line straight to my under bust line. That's the you can you see I just wrote it down. So this will actually make it really easy for you to understand. So from this point, you are just going to take your pattern curve, you place it this way, and then you blend that from that under bust, you blend it into your bust point line. Can you see? It is a simple process to create the curves. And then from this other side, I'm using the difference between my bust and my under bust is 3.5 inches. Sorry, it's 3 inches. I'm adding 1 extra inches to this side. So I added 1 extra inch to make it 4 inches and then marked it. The reason is because our chest bust is usually fuller at the right hand side, close to our armpit. So that's why I used 4 inches instead of that 3 inches. Okay, so the next thing, I want to mark out the neckline. So I'm using 7 inches from the shoulder line. So that's 7 inches, because like I said, I don't want it to be open. I'll just curve that in like that. You can see. So for those of you that don't know, still struggling to learn how to sew corsets, follow all of my videos. You see them. They are very simple and easy to understand. Okay. So you can see I'll just take that curve it to this side, and then curve the other one. The next thing, I want to take out my full body measurement. So I'm dividing my bust measurement with circumference into 4, add my allowance, and then add my stitching allowance. Sorry, add my dart intake, and then add my stitching allowance. Okay. After that, the next thing, I'll come to my under bust. I'll divide my under bust by 4. I'll mark it, and then I'm going to add my dart intake of 3 inches, and then add my stitching allowance. So I'll connect the line that way. And then the next thing, I'm going to come to my waistline measurement. I'm using 32. I'm going to 34, sorry. divide that into four, and then I'm going to mark it and then curve that in. And then I'll come to the hem. I'll divide that into four, mark it, and then add my allowance. After that, I'll connect everything. So I'm going to have the shape. So for the basque, I'm going to create that on my fabric. I'm not placing it on the pattern. So I want to do it on the fabric during stitching. Okay, so that is that. So for this other part, I want to snatch this part. That's I want to take out another extra that. So what I did, I just divided the center, looked at the center, and then slanted it. If you notice, you can see it is not straight. Just you can create out the style line however you want. And then I'm using half of an inch. So like I said, please subscribe to my channel. If you want to register for online classes, that's my number on the screen. You can send me a message. Okay, subscribe, share the video, like the video. So that's just basically all. So I'll just label all of my piece 1 2 3. That's all for drafting a corset. For those of you that is still looking like a mirage, to it is not a difficult thing. Just follow my videos, and in no time, you know how to do that. So these are all of my pieces. So the next thing, I'll transfer all of them to my fabric. So like I said, if you have not subscribed, please subscribe to my channel, like my videos, share my videos. In the next class, I'm going to be showing you detailed how to sew this corset. It's a simple process. So thank you so much guys for watching.